Men, this is Chris with the Age of Reason. Today is the 1st, and just out here running some errands, taking care of some business. I was just wondering, you guys have probably all seen all the staged, well, I'll call them that in a little while, but all the alleged revolutionary videos taking place out there, seemingly all across America at the same time. Allegedly, everyone's all up in arms over this supposed reckless homicide of an innocent man at the hands of another man. But of course, you see, they have to make sure to get in the split, the divide, by bringing in the race card, the race element to it all. So, you guys have probably all seen this by now. I'm sure that you have. You know, supposedly every city's burning down to the ground, and supposedly people are out there and fighting for their rights. You know, all this. Completely blind to what's going to happen when this is all said and done. Completely blind and oblivious to what's happening right now behind the scenes. People are very, very easy to control. People are very, very easy to lead and steer. Is that not true? Of course it is. People are incredibly simple creatures. And the masters of reality know this. They've studied people, you know, since the dawn of their time, ruling over us. They're all connected in every way, every one of them. You know, but people don't get it, do they? You know, they thought that the French Revolution and the overthrowing of the monarchy was an organic event, you know, and they thought that so-called democracy was a real thing. And they still think that the lowest class of society, which is the poor, the working class, the disenfranchised, the disgruntled, the drugged out, the medicated, the angry, the drunk, they still think that these people are capable of revolution. That's cute, huh? That's very cute. So it takes race-based stories to lead these people to so-called revolution. Meanwhile, everyone's been broke for over 100 years. No reason to throw a revolution, right? You know, no reason. Bankers took the house and the land. Fuck it, you know. Your water's poisoned. Fuck it, you know. But supposedly this is it. This is the impetus to get everyone, you know, making a scene, making a change, you know. Media makes threats that politicians are taking your guns away. That's not quite revolutionary. Free speech has long been usurped. You can't publish your own newspapers, magazines, etc. You know, not with any kind of broad reach. No big deal. We got Xboxes, we got PlayStation, you know. We got cell phones. You know, media tells you to put on a face mask to go out and handle your business. That's okay, we can handle that too. Media tells you that Whitey is out there killing them. Well, triggered. This is how people think, and so, you know, this is to ever think that this low class would ever be worthy, capable, or have the forethought and planning for any kind of organic revolution. If you're believing that, you still got a lot to learn. You know, you are belied upon, you know, 100% belied upon. if you believe you have been belied upon. There's just no other way to face that, you know. So, allegedly, all these major cities are being touched by angry mobs of who knows what they are. I mean, you know, you see guys wearing furry suits and shit. You think that this is a person that's capable of revolution? No. God, no. You know, you're seeing people stealing bottles of alcohol, bottles of liquor. You're gonna stay imbibed during the revolution? Okay, well, I think that times of revolution would be a time where you would need as much mental clarity as possible, right? Huh? But what do I know, right? Absolutely nothing, I suppose. As I continue to say, the more I learn, the less I know. But that comes just because I am learning more, and when you learn more, you must shed what you thought that you used to know. So you didn't know as much as you thought, did you? Of course not. Of course not. So it's out there in, let's start off in Minneapolis, and now it's out there in California, Colorado, Arizona. And my brother, who lives in Detroit, even says that it's starting to come here. Of course it is. Of course it is. It's going to be across the lake, too, over in Chicago, next thing we know. But who's paying attention? You know, most people are taking it seriously. Most people are thinking that this is some organic, grassroots revolutionary process, but it's not. Revolution is exactly the way that communism moves at its last stage. Again, as I've always said, if you've never studied communism, then you'll never have a firm handle, firm grip on what we are witnessing. You know, is it going to play through? How are they going to do it? You know, we have various coalition governments starting for interstate government, and with coalitions you don't get anyone elected, you get people appointed, you know. So who are the people that will be appointed, and what roles will they be appointed for, and how will it impact you? How will it impact your family? How will it impact your money and everything else? These are things that nobody thinks about when they see revolution as the end user, because you are the end user and you have no idea what's happening. Like I said before, a computer programmer will write code to display a so-called random number. They write random number generators. The end user doesn't see what happens in the process. The end user just gets what he believes is a random number, and that's okay. But in the case of this version of reality in which we reside, there are ways that you can find out what's going on behind the scenes. You certainly can. But for the most part, people don't like doing that because it takes them away from the entertainment factor of what's being given to them. What you're witnessing is something more like professional wrestling, more than anything, especially with the so-called Big Floyd, you know, deal. That's professional wrestling 101. That's WWE. You can see guys being choked all the time on WWE and nobody's dying. Brutus Barber Beefcake back in the early 90s supposedly had his throat cut in the ring, you know. I mean, what we're seeing is scripted reality, you know. It is. It's filmed in a fucking studio somewhere. But people don't want to realize that. They don't want to pay attention to that, do they? Because it's not fun when you know that it's an act. It doesn't get your juices going the same way. And people are adrenaline junkies. So when they see this stuff, they need to be turned on because they're bored. They need it. They need it. To start with, the whole so-called lockdown wasn't enough to trigger anyone to do anything. So they had to push the envelope further. They absolutely had to. And of course, it's been talked about for a long time by myself and other people, websites. You don't just have to watch video channels. You could read on a website about foretelling what's going to happen. None of this is brand new. There's nothing new under the sun. Of course. Pardon me. But people are adrenaline junkies. They absolutely need this. They need something to fuel them. And if they don't have it, they become incredibly bored and they won't do anything with their own time except waste it. So, you see these people, they come to your, if these things start coming to your area, don't be a fool. Don't go running out there and throw bottles and stones and everything else and think that somehow you're making an impact. No. That does about as much as waving a damn picket sign. It's not going to do anything. Picketing doesn't work. Protest doesn't work. And standing around stealing bottles of liquor and whatever, that doesn't work. It's all 100% controlled. And there is big things attempting to be done. Now, if anything's going to be done, I'm not the prophet of doom, so I can't tell you that they will. But it's always a money grab first. And if you haven't noticed that, at the current state of economic shutdown, then you gotta pull your head up out of the sand or out of your ass, wherever it is. 100% about money, first and foremost, always. They've changed the currency in this country several times, not just since the Federal Reserve. States had their own different currencies. Interstate trade changed. International trade changed. It's always about money. So what's it going to be? That's the question. What are they going for? That much I'm not too sure yet. I will remind you all that they have not given up on their PNOC, the Project for a New American Century. Of course they haven't. You haven't talked about it since Obama's first run. That doesn't mean that it's been forgotten. They don't forget what they're working on. They don't just throw these things in the trash. The creation of the Amero is still a very serious possibility. Supposedly the world is changing. The United States is changing its trade policies with Hong Kong, China, and all this crap. If that's the case, then there has to be something else on the table. That would mean they're going to start moving production and shipping and everything else to a different part of the world. Just think about it. So if you have the American Union, the North American Union, NAU, which would be Canada, the United States, and South America, well, then they could go ahead and start doing these things. I'm not going to go ahead and tell you that's what's going to happen, because I don't know. These are just thoughts that I keep in my head. That would bring back production to the continent, the overall continent, which we call, where the United States is, the North American continent, or whatever, the American continent of America, whatever. But is that what's in the works? Well, I don't know. Like I say, just remember, they do not forget their plans. I don't know. Yeah, like I say, they're really pushing the race war again. They've been working at this since forever. Since forever, always. It's not just about since the 90s or early 2000. I mean, we got to go way back in the history of this country for how long they've been pushing this, and possibly even the history of the world. This is not the first country on Earth that's had these things arise, so-called racism and everything else, and this is not the first time, because nothing is new under the sun, and don't you ever forget that. Zero things are new They don't have to work very hard. They don't have to think very hard. Okay, they don't. Look at how people respond. All they're being shown, the end user is being shown an image of something happening, and that's enough to make them lose their shit. Okay? People don't think they know these things. They've mastered psychology. They're masters at manipulation, It's not hard stuff to figure out. I don't know. Don't trigger yourself, Don't let yourself be stupid. Someone says some words that you don't like, ignore it, because words ain't gonna do a damn thing to you. It's actions. The actions speak louder than words. Pay attention to the actions that are happening right now out there in the world. Identify what's real, what's scripted, what's organic, what's artificial. Use your discernment and try to teach others that same level of discernment that you have, because the system overall relies on people remaining as willfully ignorant as possible. Willfully ignorant. I've told you all before, there was a time in my life when I was willfully ignorant. I was ignorant. I ignored things that were important. Okay? I ignored them. If I was, how many other motherfuckers are, okay? This isn't hard to figure out. It's not hard to figure out. The hard thing to figure out is, what's the end game? Is it going to be, totalitarianism under a corporate oligarchy? Well, I've told you already that we have a corporatocracy. A corporate oligarchy already exists. So this is just another motion in it. Removal of rights will come at the cost of the dollar, at the cost of your goods. It's not hard to figure out. "In God You Trust" is wrote on your dollar bill, after all. See how they bamboozled you with that? God didn't give them the damn dollar. Of course not. Of course not. None of this stuff comes from God. None of it. None of it. So the corporatocracy is very real already. The oligarchy, the power of money, is already real. That's already there. What's the end game? What's the end goal? Okay, they need people to still buy their shit. They need people to still buy their shit, but they're going to control how the people buy it, and they're going to continue to give you worse shit. More poisons. They will wind up legalizing more illegal substances. Get ready for it. They will. And people will say that that's a good thing. But, is it going to remove people from abusing those things? That's the catch-22 of it all. Yes, of course, criminalization of illicit substances does lead people into further trouble in life, yes. But would it benefit anyone if you could just readily find it available anywhere that you wanted, and then, have nothing for it, I don't know, man. I'm out here in Michigan. We got people talking about the government. The governor is lifting these restrictions and that. The governor ain't doing shit, okay? That's the bottom line. None of your governors are doing shit, period. They're not doing a damn thing. They're not. All they gotta do is keep on feeding you a little bit of bullshit, and that keeps you off their back. That's all. They told us what the new normal is. This is the new normal, and it's going to go further. Unless some so-called draining of the swamp really did happen. But I don't think that's happening either. Do you? Tell me, do you? No. And by now, the overall, this whole situation has shown people, if they've never noticed before, the state of the social statuses amongst people on the streets. How they deal with each other, how they feel about each other, how they interpret what they call racism and everything else. It's out there. People will just throw that shit at you for no reason. And by now, if people have never had to feel that, well, they probably have by now. So, what does that put the future of the society at? I mean, let's say there was somehow a big change back into some form of traditionalism. How would it go over? Probably not very well. I mean, people are going to reject everything because the majority of the population is very fucking stupid, very unintelligent. They don't care. They just want what they want. They have their wants versus their needs. Period. So, I don't know. What would be the solution? Eugenics or something? A real life going to the houses and clearing people out? How do you rationalize that? Who decides who gets cleared out? These are all important questions, right? Okay, buddy. You're just doing a U-turn. Alright. Really on a scooter. That's cool, though. Whatever. It's nice weather, so, no big deal. But, I don't know, guys. I'm going to jump up off here. You guys know who this is. This is Chris with the Age of Reason, reminding you all to keep both eyes, all three eyes open at all times and pay attention. I hope everyone can hear this all right. I didn't do any testing. This is a brand new mobile device today. Mobile device. I don't call them phones. I call them mobile devices. But, yeah, I don't know, man. It's all bullshit, first and foremost. But the general population loves bullshit. So there you go. There you go. I don't know. Alright, I'm out of here. Catch you guys later.